Wednesday, the 11th of April. Welcome everyone to Business Morning with me, Bosun Omofaye. We're live to you from Channel's global headquarters, Lagos, Nigeria's financial epicenter. And the biggest story today goes straight to Broad Street, more correctly, Custom Street. That's where the Nigerian Stock Exchange is based. And today, as we're starting the trading day, the shares of Oando Nigeria PLC is out of technical suspension, and that's the breaking news. You already seen that on our ticker tape since about 2 hours ago. So let's get that conversation started. Where are we at the moment? The Nigerian Stock Exchange late yesterday reportedly wrote to the management of Oando Nigeria PLC saying the troubled energy trader 6-month technical suspension is now being lifted. Oando's share price was placed on technical suspension in October last year, and since then the share price has been frozen at ₦5.99, and the entire market uptick that we saw, 40% rally last year in the Nigerian Stock Exchange and about 12% since we started the new year, although that has been shifted out. Oando's not been part of it. And you've seen dozens of millions of shares of this company also being traded. So a few days ago, Oando wrote to the Nigerian Stock Exchange requesting for the lifting of technical suspension, saying that the shareholders of the company are hurting, not just in Nigeria, but as the company has also a secondary listing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the largest exchange on the African continent. So let's get the first word on this and some analysis in understanding what you call a share price suspension and a technical suspension and a trading suspension from Channel's economic commentator and CEO at financial derivatives company, Bismarck Iwane, live here in the studios with us to tee off this conversation that's starting right now here on the channel. Good morning, sis. Good to have you. Give us a first word on this news, breaking as it is.
First of all, in stock markets, you buy on the rumor, sell on the news. But today, you're going to buy on the rumor and also buy on the news. That's fact. Suspension was in October last year. 175 days suspension. 10:30 p.m. last night, April 10, suspension lifted by the stock exchange after 5 months. Why? Because it's been a subject of investigation and forensic audit. And the submission date of the forensic audit, we do not know. But meanwhile, who are the people that have suffered? The people that have suffered are, 1, investors, retail and wholesale and institutional, management, regulators, and the markets. Basically, we've eaten into the market confidence. So again, they say better late than never. But what has happened to the downstream sector in this period? In the last 175 days, the Q3, Q4 GDP numbers have come out. The downstream sector has actually grown by about 8.3%.
Which is part of where Oando Nigeria operates, yes.
All right. And this industry is oligopolistic to a large extent. It's dominated by a few players, Oando being one of them. Forte Oil, Con Oil, Total.
Just a few of them, just about 7 or 8.
Profitability of this industry has been up 13% at a time when profitability is going down. So we've had the, what you call the subsidy issues and all that, but the industry has been doing well, even in terms of GDP, in terms of profitability, but revenues came down because things were being rationalized. In the meantime, the investors and the shareholders in Oando have suffered because it's static. But is it normal for that kind of thing to happen? No. The truth is that technical suspension was used in the past for when there were rights issues, or even if there was an infraction by management, you go very quickly, finish it, and you don't punish the investors. What has happened so far is that there's been trading on this stock, maybe under the table, where people have been losing value. And that's not good for the market.
Well, we look at, and if you try to unpack the why and how of technical suspension, that's what you're getting into. Yes. What you call the why and the how of a technical suspension. First, why will the technical suspension be imposed? And second, how? How on as to how long should it be? Should it be punitive and being protective? So let's put it, being punitive and being protecting investors.
Historically, the day you want to do a rights issue, historically, then you put, the day you announce it, they put the stock on technical suspension. After the allotment of shares so that people couldn't corner it, they now lift it. But ever since then, the Security and Exchange Commission has allowed trading in rights. So that is no longer, that's a redundant rule. The only other time where you have technical suspension is when there's some untoward behavior, but you go in quickly and do it. But at times it happens where you have what they call circuit breakers. If something is happening, something that could be detrimental to market health and all of that, then you go in very temporarily, and the maximum period for those kind of suspensions is about 10 days, not 175 days. What we have is 10 times that happening in this particular case. And typically, you know, regulators are on top of the game. There's the SRO, which is the Nigerian Stock Exchange. There's the SEC itself. And you know, there's been controversy because this is a political environment. So people don't want to be caught in this. Investors should be protected from all of that, you know, the ups and downs.
Do you think we're resolving this Oando's case or issue right now? Of course, the court case has been cleared, so that paved for the way for the new leadership or at the SEC to say we're starting the forensic audit. And the forensic audit, we hear it is now about 3 weeks in the works already, and an interim report could be ready anytime soon. Are we gradually seeing the end, the beginning of the end of this?
Yes. See, Oando as a company is going through its own internal governance issues. Oando as a company are competing. They are pitching for various projects, including the gas pipeline, maybe part of the refinery restoration and rehabilitation projects and all that. 1. 2, Oando as a company is also having some shareholder issues that have been resolved. But what is more important is the fact that investors are looking at the signals that are coming out from 1, the regulators, 2, the company, and 3, the markets. What we want to do is to mobilize resources so that the market can grow. We are going to have the MTN listing very soon. We're going to have this. So it's the way we handle these matters is also send a clear signal to potential, existing, and also international investors that this market is transparent, this market is accountable, and this market is there to protect all interests, not to be used for punitive purposes. I think that's a clear signal. Secondly, the market is mature. We are in the era of social media. Whatever happens, investors are coming out and asking for their rights, both minority investors, majority investors, and stakeholders. So this is a very clear thing. In the past, in the US, for example, this has happened on March 22nd, you know, there was temporary suspension in March in 2018, this year, of a company in what they call it, FWell ENF Corporation. And that suspension was for 10 business days due to concerns about accuracy and adequacy of information. But within 10 days, it was free. And that is in the US market, which is one of the most efficient and advanced markets in the world.